having a great day. A quick review from yesterday. If you remember, we talked about once you have finished your schooling or your education, whether it be at a technical program or at a university or a community college, when you go and have many job offerings to you, how to decide what is best for you. And remember, sometimes it's not about the amount of money, but the benefits that are offered with it. Today's lesson is going to be primarily focused on once you have picked your job, whatever company or wherever location you decide to work at, once you get that paycheck that you're all excited about, how to understand your paycheck. I know that kind of seems odd saying that, but there's a lot of things that you're going to see are listed on your paycheck that we're going to talk about today and what that all means. If you look at the image here, you see this gentleman standing there all pumped about receiving his paycheck. And I know a lot of us, our first paycheck, we're waiting for it to be some big whopper. And then when we actually look at it, we're kind of surprised at the number that we thought we were receiving and then what we're actually getting. The video you're about to watch is from an episode of Friends, and Rachel is all pumped about getting her first paycheck at her job. Like I said earlier, most of us will be like, but then when you actually see what your number or the amount that you receive, it's not exactly what you expected. And so this is just a clip from that to kind of show you a demonstration of it.
Paycheck! Look at the window. There's my name. Hi, me. I remember the day I got my first paycheck. There was a cave-in in one of the mines and 8 people were killed. Wow, you worked in a mine? I worked in a Dairy Queen. Why? Isn't this exciting? I earned this. I wiped tables for it. I sneaked milk for it, and it was totally not worth it. Who's FICA? Why's he getting all my money? I mean, what? Chandler, look at that.
Oh, this is not that bad. No, you're fine. Yeah, for a first job, you can totally live on this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Hey, by the way, great service. Oh, yeah.
Now that you've seen the video, the same response happens a lot of times with your first paycheck. And as you can tell from the babies and the question it has, is that let's say your first paycheck you're supposed to receive $2,000 on it. Well, that might be the gross amount. We're going to talk about what gross amount is in a minute, the gross pay. But that doesn't mean that you're actually going to receive the full $2,000. I know this can be puzzling, and we're going to go over why you might not receive that full $2,000 amount or whatever your paycheck is supposed to say. And we're going to explain in depth why you don't receive that full amount and where that money actually goes to. Now, gross pay versus net pay doesn't really mean that it's nasty because we hear the word gross, but gross pay actually is the money earned before any deductions are taken out. And a deduction is like a subtraction. And net pay is just simply the money that is left after all the deductions have been taken out. So if you could think of maybe like a fishing net, if you catch a fish out of the water and you scoop it up, the fish that remains, that would be like net pay. So your question is, just like mine and everyone else's, is where does all your money go that has been taken out of your paycheck? Well, it primarily goes to two different places. One are your benefits, which we talked about yesterday, such as retirement, insurance like health, home, investments. The other is taxes. Payroll taxes are the state and federal taxes that you as a citizen are required to withhold or take out of your paycheck. There is no way to avoid these taxes. In fact, Benjamin Franklin once said, "The only things certain in life are death and taxes." And I think he's right on that. If you look closely at this check, you will see there FICA, better known as FICA. Now, Rachel in Friends was talking about who FICA was and why was he getting all her money. Well, we're going to talk about what FICA is here. FICA is abbreviation of the Federal Insurance Contribution Act, but most people refer to it as FICA. It is a federal tax that's made up of the Social Security and Medicare taxes. What is Social Security or Medicare? It's our country's health insurance program for people ages 65 or older. Certain people younger than the age of 65 can qualify for Medicare too, including those who have permanent kidney failure. After the age of 65, people draw a check monthly from the federal government, the Social Security check. Now, what you're thinking is, oh, I don't have to pay into my retirement because I'm going to get this check. That is wrong, because some people believe in that, but when they really get that check after the age of 65, they realize it's not enough to live on. So putting money back into your retirement is crucial, because the Social Security check will just be additional spending money for you. But again, do not rely upon a Social Security check after the age of 65, because it will not be enough to survive on. Now let's talk about federal taxes. This is paid by citizens of the United States regardless of the state or county in which one lives. This payment goes to the Internal Revenue Service, better known as the IRS. Another item you'll see listed on your check is state taxes. This is paid by the citizens of the state in which one resides in. States may set their own percentage rate, therefore it varies from state to state. So some states have a higher percentage, therefore the residents within that state will pay a higher state tax versus another state that may have a lower rate. So here's an example of someone's earnings or their check. You can see here where gross pay is versus the net pay and how they have deductions like FICA out of their check. So here's an example of what your check could look like on the first paycheck. Your gross pay, which is the overall amount that you receive, is $1,000. But then when the benefits and the taxes and FICA is all taken out, you will see the number down here with your net pay. Now that amount is what you have to live off of. That, of course, you need to pay utilities, gas, groceries, clothing, whatever that case, but that is what money is left over. So now you understand truly that money does not grow on trees, and your parents are not lying when they tell you that. If this all seems confusing, maybe we can break it down this way. Here you see the whole pizza of gross pay. Now this is before you take it into your house where all your friends are at. This is the equivalent of what you think you're going to bring home on your paycheck. But if you look over to the right, you see net pay. Now, net pay, again, is after all the deductions have been taken out of your paycheck. This analogy goes with all your friends eating most of your pizza. Whatever is left over, the rest is yours to spend. Now, again, even though you're not getting all those little slices that some of your friends are eating, you still benefit because your friends enjoy it. Remember, some of your check is going into benefits that you will reap on further down the road. So it's not always a negative thing. Even though, yes, you're only left with a few slices to enjoy yourself at that moment, remember, you will benefit later on down the road if you invest your money wisely. That concludes our lesson. I hope that you have learned and have a better knowledge of how to understand your paycheck.
Got money, yeah, and you know it, yeah. Take it out your pocket and show it.